Jotaka Eaddy worked at the NAACP, then all of a sudden, she went to go work in Silicon Valley. How in the heck do you do that? Well, that was our conversation. Here it is. All right, y'all, so I had to go ahead and break my shades out because my next guest, Sheila Hollywood, Jotaka Eaddy, of course. So that's why, let me go ahead and break the shades out, you know, because whenever she come around, it's glitz and glam and all that good stuff. What's happening?
How you doing? You know, go Gamecocks.
Girl, don't start. So y'all need to understand, so we have a text message thread. And since my Texas A&M Aggies have been in the SEC, the school we have owned the most during football season are the South Carolina Gamecocks. So Jotaka, Anton Gunn, Bakari Sellers. Who else is in that text thread?
Christina Q.
Christina Q is another brother who's in that thread. Oh my God, she says he's an alpha. Oh my God, what's his name?
Oh, you talking about Mike.
So they all Gamecocks. And so they've only beaten us twice in like 13 years.
But L is a L.
Like, L is a L, but they've taken way more L's. And they talk a whole lot of trash in this thread. They've been real quiet this season, though. When you're 3-5, that's what happens.
Well, you know what, Roland? Just watch the end of the season.
Oh, I'm just letting you know.
Let's see where things go. Let's see who's going to be in the SEC championship.
When they come, we know y'all not. When they come to Kyle Field, we going to handle that business. So the thread is going to be probably a one-way thread that day.
We are ready for it.
Now you know, stop it.
Well, let's just
y'all
put it here.
Jesus to today
on Roland Martin Unfiltered, you will wear a Gamecock full outfit.
Oh, that's fine.
Once we beat you all.
Because that ain't going to never happen.
We will.
That ain't going to never happen. And
okay, y'all, we're going to order his outfit.
I'm
going to go ahead and order it.
And I'm going to have my big Texas A&M foam hat.
Okay.
For you to have to put on and that 12th man jersey. Now listen, we done beat y'all so much, you might as well go ahead and just have that laid out every year. So I just want y'all to let y'all know, it's a trash talking, but it's and then, you know, Anton be running his mouth, but we just be beating the hell out of y'all. Y'all, they beat us last year the first time, I think, in like 8 years.
Yeah, we beat you.
Yeah, hold up.
And we will do it again this year.
And the previous 7 years, we were on.
You know what people mostly remember?
Did we go to y'all stadium
People remember the last game.
Did we drop like 60
what happened last year?
Did we drop like 60 or 70 on y'all at y'all stadium?
You took an L.
Did we, like in y'all home stadium, we put like 70 on y'all.
You took an L last year.
They are 2-11.
An L last year.
Well, let me double check it. They are 2-11. Since we joined the SEC.
But you took an L last year.
That's one of the two. But we know what's going to happen this year.
We'll see.
Are y'all ranked this year? No.
We will be.
Are y'all ranked?
We will be.
Matter of fact, we number 3 in the country. Y'all got 3 wins.
Let's talk AfroTech.
You the one who wanted to start. I mean, all the L's y'all been taking, and I send them a text every week going, womp, 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 womp.
Rolly just mad he didn't go to the University of South Carolina. That's what
I can guarantee you, I did not want to go to high school twice.
We have the #1 international business school in the country.
Oh, y'all got something that's ranked?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. We got more Fortune 100 CEOs than any other country in America.
I mean, we're home. We're home to Anton Gunn. We're home to
nobody know
Sellers.
Anton Gunn.
We're home to Steve Benjamin.
Don't nobody know that
Smalls.
Kappa. Girl, do you want me to start naming? You want me to start naming?
Roland, let's talk about tech.
That little bitty school in South Carolina. How many students y'all got?
We have a large number of students.
What y'all got, about 20,000?
No, probably more like 30, 35,000.
Oh, that's a satellite campus for us. That's a little satellite campus.
I love you, Roland.
That's a wing of Texas
I love you, Roland. You know what?
We got about 78,000.
Let's just see what happens.
Jotaka,
let's see what happens.
Jotaka, we gonna beat the hell out of y'all.
I promise you, we're all coming on your show,
Jotaka,
and you're gonna wear the Gamecock gear.
We gonna beat the hell out of y'all. I'm letting you know.
Okay.
We gonna. It's gonna be hashtag team whip that ass. Just letting y'all know. So y'all gonna be 2-12 against us. All right, let's go ahead and start this interview before you get cut. Let's talk tech and activism. So you worked for the NAACP for a long time, and then you made a switch. Why?
Ooh, that's a good question. So
I know it's good.
So
I asked it.
Of course, my friend. So you know what's interesting is that at the time when I left the NAACP, this was 2013, 2014.
Just lower the microphone a little bit. There you go.
2013, 2014. And I was very hesitant. And it was a time when Mitch Kapor, Frida Kapor, and Ben had left the NAACP and went into Silicon Valley.
Been jealous.
And they called me and they said, look, we think you should come into tech. We have companies that market to black and brown communities, have no black employees. They're in a highly regulated or about to be highly regulated industry, which was financial technology. And I was like, whoa. I'm doing just fine. I'm doing important work. I'm working on voting rights. I'm doing all this work at the NAACP. And I remember having conversations with Frida Kapor Klein, and she was like, you could do good and do well, and that the industry could use someone like yourself with your skill set. And I still felt like I didn't know how to code. I was much older. I didn't see a reflection of myself. And
so when you were thinking of tech, you were thinking the engineering job, stuff along.
Yes.
Reverend Jackson always made a point to say that folk didn't realize 60% of
the
jobs are not in STEM.
Absolutely, and that's what I learned. And so when I got out of my own way and I went into the industry, what I realized was that not only was there a need for me, there was a demand for people like myself, people with my skill set, particularly in financial technology, where the regulatory framework was not even developed. This is at the very launch of the CFPB. And so they needed people who had relationship and understanding of how policy was developed to go in and help guide the policy that was going to dictate the product. Well, you can't have a steady and a reliable product roadmap if you don't have a reliable government or regulatory framework in which you can build your product. Or it's always going to be back and forth, which is not good for business.
But then you also saw how the sausage was made and how folk became millionaires and billionaires.
Very
and
much
all of a sudden, how investments here and learning about this new company about to launch and folk getting in early as well. So you saw a side of Silicon Valley of tech that most African Americans don't see.
They never see. And that's what I learned. A very important word, deal flow.
Right. Bob Johnson always said, you have to be in the deal flow.
You got to be in the deal flow.
If you're in the room and conversations are happening, that's the deal flow that you may not be aware of if you're not at the table in the room.
Absolutely, and that's what I learned. And so when I went into tech, I remember having dinner with Tanya Lombard. I remember having dinner with
Tanya Lombard, AT&T.
Yes, and Mignon Moore. And what they said to me, they said, look, because I went to Tanya, because Tanya, I believe, is a real model for how you can be in corporate America. Because this was new for me to go into corporate America, and I always talked to Mignon. And what they said was, first, learn how to do your job. Then understand how the industry works. And then once you learn how the industry works, then you go back and you make sure that others can understand, and you open as many doors as Donna Brazile always says, remove the hinges from the door. And so it was very important for me when I went into tech to go back and tell all my friends that were on the Hill, in the White House, that was in other civil rights organizations, here, this is an opportunity for us. They need us. They need us not just for the regulatory or government affairs aspect. They need us for going into these markets, understanding the market. Just imagine a company that entirely they are marketing to black and brown people, and there is no black or brown people at any decision-making table, whether or not the marketing, the strategy for how they're going to go to market, the development of the technology, the algorithms, the research so that your products are culturally competent. All of those things matter for you to do well in business. But then also, I began to understand deal flow, and I began to have invitations into conversations about deal flow, about investments. And so I started early in other companies. And so I started investing. I learned about how you can become a limited partner in funds, and how you can take money and you can give that money to a trusted.
And the problem is, for many of us, we're thinking, oh my God, it's $1 million, $2, $5 million, not realizing there are people who made millions of dollars in investment $5,000, $25,000. I mean, small amounts of money. Again, when you don't know, you don't know.
When you don't know, you don't know. And I think that's what's important, that when we get into these spaces, that it's important for us to share information about investment opportunities. There have been many a times when I've had investment opportunities, investment deals that I've been involved in, and I go to as many people as possible and say, hey, I've gone to you and say, hey, this is a really good deal. Here's their deck. I really believe in this company. Minimum check is $10,000. A minimum check is $25,000. And I think we often think that we've got to have $1 million. Now, you do have to be an accredited investor.
Right.
In order to be an accredited investor in the United States by law, you have to have an income, I believe it's at least $250,000 a year as an individual, or you have to have a net worth, I believe, outside of any homes that you own of $5 million. Though there are many Black Americans in this country that meet that threshold, particularly of making $250,000 or more a year, and that gives you the opportunity. If you think about, some of us walk around and we look at our closet, we might have $20,000 in shoes, bags, and clothes that we might have bought in 1 year, when we could have taken that and put it in an investment. And not only when we invest in companies that otherwise don't get the capital, we are doing multiples. Like, one, it's an opportunity for us. Second, what it also does, it puts capital and a flow of capital, particularly to founders who have just as much agency, just as much talent, but often are, overlooked and underfunded and just need the opportunity and the capital backing.
Last question I want to ask you, and by being in those rooms, when you talk about deal flow, also understanding there's hiring going on, meaning that marketing agency, that ad agency, that audio-visual firm, that PR firm. So we're talking millions upon billions of contracts that we're also not being aware of. So when someone like you is there, you can say, hey, did you consider this firm, this firm, this firm? And so even if you're not in the tech company, your company can be a beneficiary of those tech dollars.
Yes, I have had the opportunity, and I think a lot of people, they mostly see my advocacy work, which is very important. It's my heart work. It is my volunteer work that I do. The work that I do that allow me to have the flexibility to do that is my investing, and it is the work that I have done to advise tech companies. I'm on a board of a private tech company, even.biz. I am an investor in a multitude of companies. I'm an LP in multiple funds. And what that allows me is to have a seat at the table to all of these companies, because they will often ask, what do you think? Or they will, when you're an investor in a company, you get what's called an investor update. And often they will tell you, these are our next hires that we want to make. And then what I have the opportunity is to say, hey, here's a really great person. If you're not thinking about them or know of them, happy to make an introduction. Or here's a really great media agency for you to think about to help you accomplish the goal that you have. And so I think we have to think about the holistic nature of being in these tech industries. And I think that's why conferences like AfroTech is so important, because I think it's not just important for us to have a seat at the table as employees, but we need to be investors in these companies. We need to be on the board of these companies. We need to be on the management team of these companies. When I sat on the executive management team of the financial technology company that I sat at, only 2 people in the room knew how to code. Everybody else was a financial CFO, general counsel, myself, others. We didn't know how to tech. We knew how to market. We knew how to build businesses, how to market a business, how to protect a business. And that's mostly what companies are doing. And I think the last thing that I'll say is that in this conversation of around artificial intelligence and AI, it is absolutely imperative that we as a community dive deep into this, not only in the protections around the regulatory framework so that it is not weaponized against us, but it is very important for us to understand how it works, because the next great divide in America will happen as a result of AI. And either we will be on the train or the train will run over us.
Absolutely. Jotaka, always good to see you. And next time we chat, I'll have a box of tissue for you with my Aggies.
And I will have a T-shirt and a hat.
Won't need it.
I'm gonna have a special order. I'm gonna call Dawn Staley and ask her to get you a special order.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's what's
fine.
gonna happen.
But it ain't gonna happen in football. All right.
Love you,
Appreciate
my
it.
friend.